welcome to Toy Geeks with John and Jay. I am one of your hosts, Jay, and with me on this adventure is one of my good friends, John. John, how you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you doing, Jay?
So, like, in thinking about this show and kind of the years of leading up to it and everything like that, I wanted to ask, what was the toy line or the specific toy that transitioned you from a kid playing with toys or buying toys to play with them to just being a full-blown collector? You said you probably think it's the same as mine, but that'd be a cool way to kind of maybe, hopefully all this episode will kind of show, what John and I are hoping to bring to, who we are and what we hope to bring to this podcast. But what was like that? Maybe it could be one, or could it be a total toy line that's like, I need to collect these, I'm going to save them and all that kind of stuff?
For me, it was the Power of the Force Star Wars 1995.
Power of the Force
2. Yep. Power of the Force 2. Power of the Force 2. It was that first thing that you went out and bought and you kept it in the package. You're going to retire off this. You're going to make millions, as foreseen by the rest of the world of Star Wars, years and years, what you would see, eBay wasn't really around at that time, but you would look at Tomarts or Leaks, or if you had Toy Shop magazine, that was a great magazine to buy toys out of.
Yep.
And I bought those toys by the arms full.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's something that did happen with Power of the Force 2. And so there's two stories for me, like being a collector. One of them is Power of the Force 2. Absolutely. Because I think there was something really special that happened with Star Wars. There was this pent-up demand for Star Wars because it kind of ended with the first Power of the Force line in 1985, and there wasn't anything really except for those Bendham figures until 1990.
Yeah.
And in that time,
you used to find those applause figures too.
Oh yeah. And in that time, like, the vintage stuff was becoming really valuable. And I remember there was a toy store there, but it was only Star Wars and Star Trek, but it was like vintage toys. And I remember going there and they would just have all of them there, but they were like so expensive and unobtainable. So I couldn't really get this stuff. So all I had was secondhand toys that I could find at, a swap meet or at a yard sale, somebody handed down to me. So all I had was a C-3PO, an R2-D2, and a Vader. Those were the only figures that I had from the vintage line. So like once they came out, one, I wanted them really bad, and my parents divorced when I was very young, and so like that Christmas, I think it was that Christmas, my dad got me everything: the Millennium Falcon, X-Wing, all the figures. But then they didn't communicate to each other. My parents also got everything. And so like I was like basically that first wave of figures, the whatever 8 or so figures there were, and the Millennium Falcon and X-Wing, I got ones to open and then ones to keep sealed. And that's what I did. I was like, I always wanted to. I never had money or anything to be able to do that, but there's this happenstance that's what happened. And I was like, I'm going to be a collector. That's how I can still be, like tied into this thing that I love. But I can be a teenager and still maybe do this and get away with it or something. So like that line was like, I used to go to KB Toys, whatever it was, took my allowance and spent every single penny on, the newest Star Wars figure that I could find. But the one before that was really like, I think I'm going to be a collector. I want to be that person that keeps them in the box or whatever. Was that, and we joke about this set all the time, because it's somehow become valuable because it was worth nothing for so long. But that Toy Biz X-Men Hall of Fame set.
Oh yeah.
That was it a Toys R Us exclusive or I remember getting it at Toys R Us, but
I can't be sure. I don't remember that because I think I saw it at KB Toys, but I could be completely way off on that.
Well, KB always had like clearance stuff too. Like they would just bring stuff in.
Yeah.
mark it down to nothing. But I can't remember if that was like 93, 94. Maybe it was 95. Maybe it was all at the same time and the memories was just blended together. But I remember getting that set and with the intention of I wanted to play with all those figures because I really wanted Iceman, because Iceman was like, you couldn't find Iceman. That was like one of those ones that was 50 to $100 or whatever. And it had an Iceman, and so I was so excited. But I get the thing, and I open it up, and then the figures are fused to the stand. You couldn't play with them; they were glued.
They're all glued together,
and the feet had like extra pegs to like lock into the stand. It was awful.
It was a box of disappointment.
Yes. And so it became like, well, I guess we're going to keep this in the box and put it up on a shelf. And I feel like that was the first thing that was just like, it's just going to sit there.
Yeah.
Not by choice, but almost like forced the hand for me a little bit.
But it's funny. It's true. That set has gone up in value, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And they used to be a dime a dozen.
Yeah. And I don't get it. Like, what do you think? What do you think is driving that? Or is just maybe enough people bought them up that they're harder to find now? But are people going to really get nostalgic for Toy Biz X-Men? Because I feel like that's like the
I hope so.
Right. But I feel like that's the E.T. Atari game. Like there's probably landfill just still with just carded toy Marvel figures.
I think the draw for that set now is people love to display so much. Mm-hmm. And you can just put it up on a shelf. You don't have to pose them. They're all stood up. They'll never fall down. Yeah. You know, you just put it on a shelf and that's it. You're done.
I guess so. So the thing I loathed about it is maybe the thing that's making it appealing now.